Okay, good afternoon, everybody. What's up? My name is Dayla Burgess. Welcome to Therapist Directory Live Bermuda. I am so super excited about our guest today. So just for a bit of information for anyone who's tuning in that may be new to this space, Therapist Directory Bermuda was founded on the basis of creating a direct connection between people who are looking to find professionals on island and having that missing gap about information or professionals that actually exist. Sometimes we know that we want help, we want to find someone that matches our style or our vibe, but we don't know where to look. Therapist Directory BDA was founded, and we have actually been providing this bit of information and service way before we launched services last year, officially being a therapist directory before we actually provided counseling. So I am super excited about our guest. Before I bring them on, I am going to read a bit about who they are. And if you follow us, you already saw the picture, but she is not new to providing services and help to folks in Bermuda who need it. Kacee Morton-Simons is a chartered and registered forensic psychologist in Bermuda in the United Kingdom, and the owner of Metanoia Psychological Services. She has worked extensively with children and adults across the lifespan, supporting individuals with complex trauma and challenging behaviors. Her experience spans the prison service, residential care, and specialist education settings. Kacee specializes in trauma therapy using evidence-based approaches such as CBT and EMDR. And she is highly skilled in forensic psychological risk assessments. She values creating a safe, trusted environment where clients can reflect and grow. Kacee offers both in-person and virtual sessions and works collaboratively to empower clients on their mental health journey. Folks, please welcome Kacee Morton.
Hi.
Yay! I wish I knew where the clapping button was on my.
That's all right. That's all right.
Welcome, Kacee.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my lady. I'm so excited that you agreed to join us. So
Absolutely.
I always start off by asking our guests their North Star. I always want to know, like, what drives a person to actually want to facilitate help. There are a lot of helpers and different helping professions, but mental health, psychology is a specific kind of help. What led you to this space?
Honestly, I'm gonna say God. So, like a quick story. I went to university. I got accepted to do my undergraduate degree in law with psychology. I hated it. Absolutely hated law.
Wow.
Literally like 4 weeks into it, I called my parents. I was like, it's not for me. This is not it. So they was like, so what are you gonna do? So I said, I'm gonna do psychology. And it's like, what do you do with psychology? I was like, I don't know. There's sounds like something. But what I did know is that I do like helping people. I've always liked helping people. So it kind of fit. I basically spent like a year just researching what I could do with a psychology degree. And then I figured out forensic psychology. So I like understanding people, I like helping people, but I also like to understand crime. So that's kind of pretty much how I got here. So the helping profession has always been in me. I just didn't know this is what I would do. I expected to be a lawyer.
Yes. Something that's a bit more
Yeah,
people understand, and law is another way that folks facilitate help for other people. You're
absolutely.
also solving problems. You're helping people
100%.
to make sense of their experiences, right?
Exactly.
So it's a bit of enhancing not only someone's mental health state, but if you are part of a team that has law or not just law professionals, but the police services, right? Someone like
Yes.
a forensic psychologist or court helps to enhance those services in a really impactful way.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. So a part of what you do is helping to develop mindsets and create spaces where people feel healthier and feeling like their best selves, right? So, you're the founder of Metanoia.
Yes.
Pronouncing that right, Kacee?
You absolutely are.
Got it. Tell me about what opening your own mental health practice as an entrepreneur, right, or founder, what did that show you about your capacity and your ability?
Yeah, it definitely has stretched me. So, for one, I am still working full time at the Department of Corrections. So, opening my own business was like, where do you have time to do this? But what it's basically taught me is that some of the things that you do in life are bigger than yourself. So I realized that me doing my own business, giving people a space beyond what they already have, what they already know, and kind of just breaking that stigma, it was bigger than me. I have definitely wanted to quit. I've spoken to my family about it many a times because when you do have a small business, you're doing everything. You know, you're doing the social media, you're doing the billing, you're doing the therapy. So it has definitely taught me that, you know what, sometimes you have to do things that are bigger than you, and that's the sacrifice, but it's a massive win at the end of the day when you know you're transforming someone's life.
That is beautiful stuff, and that's powerful. Actually, what I'm doing is bigger than me,
Bigger
and
than me, yes, for sure.
that is spot on. And I'm so impressed by like the diversity of your experience as well. So, you came across, like you said, prison population. You
Yes.
work with children, adults. You do a bit of everything, right? So, when we're thinking about just like the family in Bermuda and what makes a family, you have the capacity to work with anyone within the family, especially
Yeah,
people with adverse experiences who people in those families that may have a experience with incarceration. Like that,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Um, do can you talk to us a bit about because you have experience with the full like life spectrum from
Yes.
childhood to
Mhm.
adults who experience the prison pipeline, right?
Yep.
Do you have any insight around like what that means? Do you believe, first of all, from the prison child to prison pipeline, like with adverse experiences being a part of that? Is that something that you see in your work?
100%. So again, a little backstory to it. So as a psychologist, you write what you call formulations, right? And
Mhm.
formulations is just a really fancy word for saying how do you understand how someone got to the place that they are. So in my field, it was how did they get to prison, looking at their entire life. And one of the consistent things that was coming up was trauma at a very young age. So developmental trauma, meaning like literally as you're growing each and every day. So from
Mhm.
young, 2, 3, 4, even younger, it was very consistent. You know, sometimes we have trauma later in life, but
Yeah.
these people were experiencing very, very difficult traumas: neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse. It was very pronounced. So that was something that kind of made me go into residential care because I basically was saying to myself, how can I help earlier? How can I kind of segue into your life so that it doesn't result in you getting into the criminal justice system?
Yes.
So 100%, there's definitely a lot of adverse child experiences that impact people
Mhm.
and kind of lead them on that path. Obviously, that's not everyone, but when you
Mhm.
look at a lot of these people's stories, you're like, how could you not come to prison?
Yeah.
It just gives you a lot of empathy and compassion for, their life journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. First, so for anyone who is watching
Mhm.
and does not know about the Adverse Childhood Experiences study, it's really, really important work.
Absolutely.
Also, shout out to the Family Center because they have also done their own
Yeah.
subset of a Bermuda Adverse Childhood
Yes,
Experience.
I've heard about that. I think that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly. And it paints a clear picture, guys, between children who suffer trauma, like Kacee said, in their developmental years, and that kind of like that journey, that trajectory, if there's no intervention or support for
Mhm.
family and child,
Yes.
and how their experiences end
Mhm.
up with prison time and
Mhm.
even worse, like chronic health conditions
Yep.
and early mortality rate. So it's a
Absolutely.
powerful study. Please check it out. Adverse childhood experiences and the Family Center also have tons of information on it for any people who are watching with little ones as well. So you can learn more about like the risk of toxic stress. So
Absolutely.
and Kacee has experience with all of that from the
Yeah.
to the and prison has also residential treatment services for little people.
Yep.
Okay, so with that said, talking about families and how everyone in the family may need mental health help or mental health intervention at some point. We know in the holiday period, Casey, and there is so much energy around this time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lots of feelings. Some of those feelings look like joy and,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Seuss's Hoot the Grinch You Stole
Yeah.
Christmas, trivial celebrations. It can look like that for some people. But then for some of us, the holiday period serves as a reminder for a lot of disrupted feelings and emotions, right?
100%.
And not everyone has the same kind of experience around this time.
Yeah.
And not only does the holidays tend to bring up a lot of uncomfortable emotions, but
Mm-hmm.
also with daylight savings time around the seasons,
Yeah.
the sun goes down earlier.
Yep.
Like the sun is about to go down soon in the
Soon.
while. And those different changes within our season and our weather can also
Mm-hmm.
affect our mood. Where do we start with helping people to first be aware of these things so that around this time, if those feelings come on, they can understand what may be happening? Do you have anything to talk
Yeah, definitely. So I remember just the other day, someone said to me, like, is seasonal affective disorder a thing? And I was like, yeah, it's actually a thing. I've noticed it a lot living in England. Like, I think I started to suffer from it because it's basically a form of depression, a form of major depression. So one of the things like, about a couple of things you want to be mindful of is that you're going to start to feel very lethargic. You might be tired a lot more. You might start to socially withdraw from people or the activities that you would normally enjoy. You might also be more irritable or more restless in just within yourself or with interactions with other people. And for starters, it's just acknowledging what is going on with me. Like, why am I snapping at my partner? Why am I snapping at my children? And ultimately, it is a change in the weather that is affecting that. So accepting that is a good place to start. There's a lot of information online about it. Obviously, always be mindful of what you do. Dr. Google has its limitations.
Mhm, mhm.
Ultimately, I always encourage people to utilize your activities as much as possible. Try not to digress away from your routine and your structure.
Big one, yeah.
Absolutely. Go outside and absorb the sun when you can.
Yes.
Get into these habits because ultimately your vitamin D decreases and that makes plays a massive role into your physiological feelings and just
Mm.
how you're feeling within yourself. Like if you think about summertime, a lot of people just feel happy just
Yeah,
because the sun's out. And
yep,
that is a reflection of that. Try to keep, like I said, keep to your routine because ultimately your internal clock, your
yeah,
body clock is confused. It
yeah,
wants to go to sleep when it shouldn't be going to sleep. So if you keep your routine, you're going to keep on your kind of routine schedule that you would have normally had. So
yeah.
these sorts of things I would say to people maintain. If you're absolutely desperately struggling and those things aren't helping, obviously you can seek support by professionals such as counseling and therapy.
Yeah.
And for some people, it goes as far as needing medication. That's not my area. I'm not going to say that I have all the answers to that, but
Mhm.
speak to your doctor. You're literally experiencing sometimes a balance in your hormones.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for that. And that's a really important piece as well. So with the sun going down earlier, our natural rhythms, our body's clock is responding to that in a big way. So
Mhm.
it's not that you are just grinchy or feeling down for any reason. Notice that this is something that happens to you yearly. And
Absolutely.
this may be something to explore. And just to add to the vitamin D piece,
Mhm.
there are also supplements that you can take. There are things that you
Yes,
can do,
100%.
yeah, to enhance that. So have a talk with your mental health professional
Mhm,
or your
mhm.
doctor about things
Absolutely.
that you can do about that, guys.
100%.
To add to that, within these seasons and seasonal affective disorder, noticing our mood changes. If this isn't something that the particular person that's watching is experiencing,
Mhm.
how can we talk to others who have people in their families who are like always grumpy or miserable or grinchy? Like, how do we support those folks in our families and our circles who who tend to feel down around this time? Like, what do we say to them, Kacee?
Honestly, you know what? Coming back to Bermuda, so I lived in the UK for just over 12 years.
Mhm.
And coming back to Bermuda, one thing I noticed is that as a people, we do not have a lot of compassion.
Mm,
We are not the most empathetic people. So I would say be compassionate to the people around you. Even if they are irritating you or annoying you, there's a reason for that behavior. I say that to everyone I interact with. There's a function for the behavior. Most times we just don't understand what that function is,
Ah,
right? Ask some questions.
mhm,
Sometimes you might have an answer, sometimes you might not. But there's someone out there who has an answer in terms of professionals as well. So compassion and empathy goes a long way in this season.
mhm, mhm. Absolutely. That's such an important point.
Yeah,
And the expectation around this time. I think there's so many unspoken expectations that are set.
100%.
So many
100%.
unspoken contract because it's the
Yep.
holiday season. Are you
Yep.
expected to look this way,
Do
show up
this.
this way,
Hmm.
have money that what magically appears into your
Yes,
account you haven't had it all
absolutely.
year, right? So being gentle with each other, guys, is so
Yes,
so 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 important.
it really is.
Like Kacee said, it's noticing the things that aren't said or the changes in body language, the changes
Hmm.
in tone,
Yep.
not applying pressure to what pressure may already exist. Really, really important that we remain understanding and compassionate with each other in a big way.
100%.
Do you have any suggestions on how we can create traditions
Mm.
that, and this is, a question that may or may not have answers, but
Yeah.
I think it's important to think about how we can create holiday traditions that don't feel unsafe or don't feel like it's too much of an ask for someone that
Yeah.
may not have anything to give, whether it's material resources or just emotional resources too.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, just personally, this time of year is difficult for me.
Yeah.
My dad died in December, so it automatically is like it shifted how the Christmas season feels.
Mhm.
So I think kind of answering your question, you do have to shift away from all the material stuff. So I am a child of God. So I say to people, remember the reason for the season.
Yes,
Yeah, we get so consumed with buying this discount, this sale, Black Friday, all these different things. But you've already kind of touched on it quite nicely about it's not got to be materialistic, right?
ma'am.
At the end of the day, this season is about giving. And whether we're given time, if we have capacity, whether we're given a hug because
Yes,
someone needs it,
yes,
whether we're just giving someone space. I know a lot of people who just like to have someone there. And you don't gotta have a whole chat with them. You just being present for some people is enough. So just remembering that giving isn't always materialistic. It doesn't have to have a financial component to it, but it
yeah,
is about coming from the heart, being genuine, being empathetic, being compassionate. So I would just say find traditions that allow you to do that.
yeah.
We've become so accustomed to the buy that we forget that we're still humans who need to connect.
Yes, wonderfully, wonderfully said. So eloquently stated, Casey. And with the piece sharing that about your dad losing a
Mm,
parent around this time,
yeah,
right? There are so many of us who have suffered a grief or loss. It
yeah,
seems like the saddest times come towards the end of the year. You can
yeah,
almost brace for it in a strange, very eerie way, right?
100%.
And we cannot leave those lived experiences of those who we know have suffered that kind of loss or grief to the side. Actually, it makes people feel quite unseen or unheard when we just ignore that. And we know that every year, like clockwork,
Clockwork,
they,
clockwork.
wow, every year, like clockwork, they may be having these big emotions that they can't process
Nope.
because I need to be showing up a certain way around these people,
Yeah,
and we don't want folks wearing a mask, right? We wanna be a safe
100%.
place. Hmm.
That is a big thing. I'm so glad you said that because people are literally walking around wearing a mask, and I get it. It's a form of protection. I can't remember who I had the conversation with, but they were saying like, people ask how you're doing, but they don't want to hear you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And it just shows, again, where do we have time and space for people because we're all going through something.
yeah,
We've got something on our mind, stress, worry, causes, and concerns.
yeah.
So yeah, be mindful that someone might be wearing a mask, and that is the snappiness, that's the irritability, that's the restlessness with you. So again, it's a function for that behavior.
Yeah, important stuff. So well said. Thank you for that. I am hopeful
Hmm.
though. I do feel like we live in a bit of a different time. In
Yeah.
that age, the information age, we have more access to stuff that helps us to say, oh, that's so and so, oh, that's me, right? The
Yep.
internet can be a jam in that way when it's not functioning the opposite way and being messy. But I think we've become more aware collectively of
Mhm.
how mental health experiences show up and what they look like for in different people's lives, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and what would you say, with that said, even though we're living in a bit of a therapized
Yeah.
world, I would say, what would you say to someone who is going into this seasonal period,
Mhm.
going into the new year in January, who knows that they feel a lot of what we're talking about? They know
Yeah.
that thing's there. It comes up at different times, but they're just ambivalent. I'm on the fence. I'm straddling the decision, make the decision, and then get stuck in analysis paralysis and just made.
I like that one. Analysis paralysis. I never heard. I might have to steal that.
Mhm. Analysis paralysis is unfortunately something that I am too, so I never quite so often. But what would you say to that person who is in that stage right now?
Honestly, so Mike, I have like this little phrase. It's okay not to be okay.
Mhm.
Remembering that we are all human. And I also try to remind people, like even myself and people like you in this profession, we're still human as well. Like we're not always got it all together. We're not always having great days, but we've learned certain strategies, we've learned certain skills, we developed self-awareness to help you. So one is okay to be okay. And two, acknowledge, acknowledge that something is wrong in
Mm.
your spirit, within yourself, within your emotions. Maybe you have some type of behavior that's kind of a coping strategy that is unhelpful for you. And that can look like many different things from using drugs to to gambling habits or just being avoidant. Like there's so many different things, so just remembering that you can acknowledge it. It's okay to be okay, and at the end of the day, we're still human. So all you're trying to do is connect with someone. Like I'm connecting with Dela right now. We're just, that's all we're doing, is connecting with people, and everyone
Mhm.
wants to be heard, whether you admit it or not. Everyone wants to be heard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. So it's okay to not be okay,
Yep.
even during the holiday period.
Yep.
It's not against the law to say, "Ooh, I need to go sit down somewhere. Oh, I'm gonna sit this party out. I'm
Yep.
not gonna, ooh, I
Yep.
need to slow down and take some time for myself."
Mm-hmm.
Um, even something else that's came up, I notice a lot, which I'm really happy about, it are folks talking more about the fact that I'm not partaking in the libations, guys. So, last year I may have been someone who was having a few
Yep.
wines, few champagnes, few
Yep.
whatever. But this year, for whatever reason, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that choice may be for me, I am choosing to not partake in this kind of holiday celebration. And that's important for folks to respect that and hold space for
100%.
that.
And I think that's great, and I'm glad that you shared that, because what
Yes.
you're speaking to is boundaries.
Yeah.
I've learned that we really do struggle with boundaries as people, because
Mm.
we have been raised, I guess, to appease, right? So if I
Mhm.
have to appease you, that means I'm kind of breaching a boundary. And that's something I can definitely say I'm working on. I don't always get it right. I have one of my friends, and she's just like, where are your boundaries? You should say no. You can't do that. And I'm like, you're right. I am tired. So yeah, and like you said, sometimes we can't. We just can't do it. And I think, again, give each other grace. We all have a lot going on. So if your boundary, if your friends being boundary with you, support them in that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes. Absolutely. It's okay to say no. It's
Yep.
okay to sit it out. It's okay
Yep.
to disappoint somebody or so,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If
That's
you're
the hard
doing
part
it.
right there.
Yeah. If
The
you're doing it for a health reason or because you have a girl that's important to you, like these are all the reasons, especially around this time, guys, that we are allowed to show up in a different way, giving yourself
100%.
permission for that. And on that note, Casey, such a great point around boundaries and giving ourselves permission
Yeah.
to disappoint others and have uncomfortable conversations.
Mhm.
Our parents show up in this a lot. Like I've seen so many different memes online around, like, the Barbies with the hair all over their heads and this and that, and it's the mom that's like doing the most,
Most. Yes.
doing the utmost. And I feel that because I have so many great mothers in my life,
Mhm.
great mothers to my godchildren,
Yep.
my mom, like I get it. It's a lot to hold.
Yes.
What do you say to that? Those parents, not just moms, but the dads who
Yeah.
may need that support, and then also their little ones who also may be having challenges, mental health challenges early on. Like that's a two-part question, but can you shed any light on that for us, please?
Yes, I'll start with the parents. So I always say to parents, because I do work with parents as well as children and sometimes within a family. And I
Mhm.
say to the parents, you have to lead by example. So one of the things that I've learned, and even in my personal life, and I shared this with my mom, I was sharing it with my dad outright, but I shared it with
Yeah.
my mom, and I kind of said, like, you have to, in order for a child to learn the various emotions, how to deal with them, they learn that from their environment. So likely as a caregiver, likely as a parent, likely as a father, a godparent, an aunt, an uncle. So for starters, lead by example. So if you're saying to your child, mommy doesn't have capacity because she's been very tired this week and she just needs a few minutes to read her book because this is what she does when she needs time to regroup, that's okay, because what you're showing the child is that, oh, when I'm tired, that's okay. I don't have to still do and do and do. So I think that's really important from a parent perspective. And once you do that, you set an example. You're setting a precedent, and children will learn through observation. That's their thing. They watch
Mm.
us constantly. So they'll learn that, and then they will be able to develop. So I say, if you're now struggling with your child,
Mhm.
their emotional management, their skills, their ability to just function in day-to-day life, you have to say to yourself, well, what am I showing them?
Oh, yeah.
Or what aren't I showing them
Mm.
in that space? And then I would just add, because this is something I'm very passionate about, just check how much time is your child using social media, because
Oh.
social media is having a massive influence on everyone's mental health, right?
Mhm.
Because there's so much that they can see. And like I said, we
Mm.
learn through observation. So if they're behaving in a certain way, maybe you didn't show it to them, maybe school didn't show it to them, maybe it's what they're using on the devices. So just keeping those things in mind. Are you leading by example? What are they watching on social media?
Ooh, the social media bomb. Ma'am, thank you so much for shedding light on that and
Yeah.
touching on the digital age that we're in.
Yes.
You and I didn't come up in a time where that was the majority of our childhood. Like,
No.
I'm so grateful. I say this maybe once a month that social media wasn't introduced until I was on my way to uni, right?
Literally.
Like in that, because my brain just had some baking time,
Yeah. It's so big, so important.
It's so important. That could be a whole nother chat, but thank you for
Yes.
touching on that because parents, our kids need to touch grass.
Yes, please.
We are not designed to be in front of screens all
No,
day. That's not how we are hardwired.
no.
And it has consequences. It has vast consequences.
Yeah.
And if you want to know more about those consequences, please hit up Miss Kacee Morton-Simons at Metanoia Counseling Psychological Services because it's a big, massive kind of snowball that we
Yes,
see coming, right?
100%.
And I know the parents see the changes in our kids
Yeah,
from having these devices and just
absolutely.
the stimulation that comes with it. Such a great point.
Absolutely.
On that point, with that point, what do you believe, or what is something that our community needs more of during this time, and not even just during the holiday period, but like overall? I think that's a good segue into this
Mm,
question with living in the digital age. The digital age can actually be a tool, right? It can
yes.
be something that we can grow and harness
Yeah,
our goals and strengths on and
absolutely.
information, but where's the balance in that, and what do we need to give more to each other to just strengthen our fabric, Kacee?
100%. So I will say genuine connection. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I've even noticed within myself, and you're absolutely right, we were in a generation where you played outside, you
Mm-hmm.
were home, you were home because the lights came on, you rode
That's
your bike,
right.
all of those sorts of things. So we connected with other peers, right?
Mhm.
Face to face. But what we're doing today is we think we're connecting with people, but what we're actually doing is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Fraudulent
Yeah.
form of connection,
Yeah.
because we actually grow by speaking to people, by looking at each other in the face. That's a real thing. And so I say that to say, in this period, put your phones down, put the iPad down, go back to the basics. Like, Christmas is coming. For some people, this is going to be a great time. For some people, not so much. But if you're spending Christmas with at least one other person, don't make your phone the center of that attention. Don't make the TV the center of the attention. Play games,
Yeah.
You get to have so many laughs and experiences. My family and I, we love playing games, because that gives us the opportunity to connect with each other
Yeah.
genuinely and have conversations. And so yeah, genuine connection. Put the phones down, speak to someone, see how they're doing, and actually listen and care about what they're saying to you.
Yes, absolutely. Taking it back to the basics.
Basics, yeah. Oh, as the generation says, the old school. The 1900s.
This is nuts because like that means that I'm really an auntie because
Yes.
this is what right we're calling it the old school, right?
Yeah.
So that means that we're aunties.
100%.
Apparently, we're the auntie
Absolutely.
generation.
We are. We
And
are.
I'm good with that.
Me
right?
too.
I'm pretty good with that.
I'm
But
very grateful.
yes, just keeping it simple, guys. It's okay to put down these screens, not just for the kids too, but
Everywhere.
us as well. Like you can't. These things are everywhere,
Everywhere.
everywhere, everywhere, and it's causing some disruption. It's causing a lot of disruption,
A
and
lot.
we're not acknowledging enough. I should say, not acknowledging enough. And that can be some of the answers that we're looking for, especially with helping our young people to feel emotionally more healthy and resilient.
Yes.
But Miss Kacee, I cannot thank you enough for joining this conversation.
Thank you.
I need to actually, before you head out, will you be a part of our therapist directory?
Of course. Thank you. Absolutely. This is
Absolutely.
an
Okay.
amazing idea that
Beautiful.
you've created. 100%. So
Thank you.
congratulations to you for such a brilliant
Thank you.
pathway for the likes of us.
I received that. I received that. And before I let you go, I also, on that note, need to hand you your virtual flowers. With that saying, because I realize, and I'm sure not only myself but others who may be viewing this call realize how important the work it is that you do, and showing up for not just one kind of population but different people within the family.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful to know that there is another person out there who feels as strongly as I do, and others as passionately as I do, to ensure that our folks, our people, are feeling their best, looking their best, doing their best. And also the unspoken populations, right? Like
100%.
the prison incarcerated folks who will be re-entered into our communities at some point.
Yeah. At some point.
At some point, they also need our care and our understanding and our help. So thank you, my lady, for all of the work that you do.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me. And where can folks go to find more about yourself, the services that you offer to not just the little people, but the adults?
Yeah.
Where do they go to find out all of that information?
Yes, so I do have a website, which is metanoiapsychology.org. For those who are not sure how to spell Metanoia, it's Metanoia. So yeah, metanoiapsychology.org. So it tells you a little bit about me, my experiences. It also tells you a little bit about the services that I provide, but you can also book appointments on there as well. So it's very self-serving. And it does tell you a little bit about the workshops that I am doing and looking forward to doing in the future. So yeah, that's how you can find me.
Beautiful stuff. For those who are viewing this live and want to go back and actually look at any point that we've talked about or find more of Kacee's information, there will be a live. The live will turn into a saved video. on our YouTube. And I will also include all of her contact information. Of course, you may be actually watching from Instagram now. All over my stories.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And also, I'll have it in the description link so that you can follow up with her. And that is all that we have. Her for a good time, not a long time. I'm not going to keep her any longer.
I appreciate it.
Kacee, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dela. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And my people, I will see you soon. Until next time, happy holidays, happy new year. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of one another as well. And we will see you soon.
Bye.
Okay?
Take
Bye.
care.